Hello and welcome to Playing to Win, a weekly podcast produced by My Disability Sports South Australia. We will share stories and experiences about life with a disability and the important role health and well-being plays for us. Our army of guests will also share their experiences as well as the highs, lows and everything in between. My name is Tim Haggis and I am joined by Stephen Palmer, Australian blind cricketer and rising tennis star, and Candice Kennedy, national road tandem bike champion and number one female blind tennis player in Australia. And we are all playing to win. Hello and welcome to Playing to Win. I'm Tim Haggis and with me today is Stephen Palmer. Hi Steve, how are you?
Good, thanks Tim. How you doing?
Good. This is the first episode of our podcast, Playing to Win. And today we're going to learn about the life of Stephen Leo Palmer. All right, first of all, tell us about your childhood, mate.
I grew up knowing I had a vision impairment. So my condition is called retinitis pigmentosa. So for people who don't know, it's loss of peripheral vision, relatively good central vision. But I have had a little bit of loss of that as well. So that's why I wear the glasses.
So when you were like 8 or 9 and you started getting into sport, which is the age that most people do, what were you doing and how did it all work out? Because you're living in Whyalla, and so you're probably the only kid in your school or around that had a vision problem. So what did you do?
No, so I was actually quite a late bloomer into sport. I didn't really start playing footy, and I played footy, and I actually lived in Adelaide until I was probably, I think it was about 16.
I should read my stats a bit better then, shouldn't I?
You should, my friend, but that's okay.
Right, what school did you go to then in Adelaide?
So I started off at primary school at Townsend House.
Did you really?
I did. I know a few people that went there, including Michael Zanis, and I'm pretty sure you went there, didn't you?
I did, but you weren't there when Michael Zanis was there.
No, of course not. Michael's a very old man.
Yes.
But look, I started off there, and then obviously that integrated into what we call now as SASPI, South Australian School for Vision Impairment. So I went there, and then I started my high school at Charles Campbell Secondary School, which is now known as Charles Campbell College. So went from there from year 8 to year 10, and then moved to Whyalla from year 11 and year 12.
So you hardly lived in Whyalla at all?
I lived there for probably 4 years. So not over the long time. But I think when you associate with me as Whyalla, it's the bus trips down to play blind cricket and to do the cycling and all that sort of thing as well. So that was quite tough.
So you didn't get into sport, obviously going to Townsend House, because I went there as well and there wasn't any sport, although things have changed a bit since my day. So did you do PE and stuff like that?
Yeah. So we had the normal PE classes. It was obviously modified for the vision impairment, but we had PE, and I just didn't start mainstream sport till I was probably, I'm going to say maybe 12. So I was, a bit later than most kids.
What did you do then when you were 12?
I was playing footy. So I played for Salisbury West, my first club.
What made you want to play footy?
I just got a love and a passion for it. I love the Crows, and I love Andrew McLeod, and he was my favourite player. He still is my favourite player of all time. So I watched him play some footy. I'm like, I want to be like him. I'd go out the front and kick the footy to myself and make up game scenarios and just pretend I was Andrew McLeod. So I took that down to Salisbury West, and that's where my footy career began.
And under 13s or something like that, was it? Or
under 12s, but under 12s, under 13s, and then from there I moved to Jeps Cross and played a couple of seasons there, and then I stopped probably for 2 or 3 years, and that's when I went and moved to Whyalla and started playing footy for the Great West Whyalla Footy Club.
So you've played at a few clubs, but how did cricket come into your life?
One of the cricketers in SA, Mark Haskett, reached out to me while I was living in Whyalla and sort of said, "Hey, look, would you want to come down and have a game and give it a crack and whatnot?" And I actually originally met Mark at a come and try day, or a come and try thing at Adelaide Oval back at Charles Campbell. And obviously, being that teenage age, I was like, this isn't for me. But as you get older, you sort of get a bit wiser. And
so did you just think, blind cricket, I don't want to play blind cricket? Is that what you thought?
Yeah.
Because you thought footy was better. And
I just sort of wanted to be as normal as possible, I guess. I mean, a lot of kids kind of do, and I thought I still had the ability to, the ability to play footy. And, I didn't really want to play, and this sounds horrible, it does, but I didn't really want to play with disabled people. That just wasn't me back then, but then come down and had a go, and I loved it. And, I've just fallen in love with the game, and it's taken me all over the world. And, I'm forever grateful, to be honest.
Well, let's not jump to the end of the story. Let's go back to, so you were 16 then, were you, when you first found cricket?
No, probably older, actually. I was probably about 17 and a half, 18.
So you were living in Whyalla when you came down for this, or?
Yep, I was. So probably the first 12 months of blind cricket in my career, I was probably living in Whyalla. And it was tough, getting buses from from Whyalla to Adelaide and back every weekend. It was actually quite exhausting.
So you were going to school during the week in Whyalla, coming down on the weekends, playing cricket, doing cycling, and then coming back on Sunday night.
Yeah, so my schedule would be obviously Monday to Thursday is school. Friday morning I'd be on the bus down to Adelaide, and get to the velodrome at 6 p.m. for a track session, and then Saturday morning go out for a ride as well, and then have a rest night Saturday night, and then get up and play some cricket on Sunday.
Wow! Every weekend.
Get a bus back. Yeah, and then get a bus back Sunday night, sometimes Monday, just depending how exhausted I was.
So Mark Haskell was a bit of a mentor for you, was he?
Yeah, you could say that.
I'm just teasing. Yeah, we all love Haskey. So when did you play your first state game? How old were you then?
Pretty sure I was 18. Could be wrong. Let's think about this. 2000. Yeah, no, actually, it would have been closer to 19, actually. Played that here in Adelaide, which is a great honour. It's not very often you get to, in blind sports anyway, I feel like, blind sports are mostly dominated by the eastern states. So, to get the chance to play, your first nationals in your hometown is a pretty special feeling. Yeah,
it was a good competition, that one. I remember it well. I ran the barbecue.
Yeah, no, I did have to put a complaint in about the food, but that's all right.
Actually, Yui cooked the barbecue and I ran the canteen. So anyway, but it was the last of the traditional blind cricket competitions before it went to the NCICs or All Abilities.
No, there was one more after that. There was Melbourne, the one in Melbourne. So they obviously finished off with the traditional stuff. And I didn't play the traditional 40-40 game in that series, but I went over there for the T20 series, which was fun.
So anyway, back to Adelaide. So how'd you go? Were you pretty good straight away, or did it take a while to get going?
I would like to think I was pretty good, but there were some very classy players. A player by the name of Peter Robinson. It was his last national carnival. So, well, it was meant to be his last national carnival, but come back a few years later.
I remember him at the one after it.
Yeah, so he come back, but Peter Robinson, Ray Moxley, Lindsay Heaven, Matt McCarthy, Brett Wilson, quality players there, and they work you out very quickly when you're new to the game, and it took me a little bit to actually adjust. Yeah.
So you had no idea when you went in what it would be like?
I had a basic idea, but I didn't realise what standard it would be, and it was a really good standard. It's probably a better standard now, but it was a really good standard to go into. When you've got really good bowlers, bowling, 100k an hour plus at you, when you're blind, it's not as easy as what you think. So
that's exactly true. So you just use that as a learning experience, that nationals, to get yourself, give yourself a good idea of what was what.
Yeah, look, I felt like I had to take on a fair bit of responsibility for my first nationals, but at the same time, we had, Haskey in the team, Michael Zanis in the team, who had, players around the group as well, like, Eugene, yourself, Shane Sanford as well, all massive experiences within blind cricket, and were able to help guide myself and the new guys as well. So it was definitely an experience it's going to be well remembered, that's for sure.
So on you went from there, and I think the next one after that was probably the All Abilities, wasn't it? The one in...
I didn't have a too bad a series. I actually got selected for my first tour.
Did you really? Tour. Straight after that?
Yeah, straight after that series. So
where'd you go?
Yes. First off, we played a T20 series in India.
Yeah.
In Bangalore, which is good fun.
So if you thought the standard was good at nationals, what was it? How big a step up from that was it to go and play India?
Oh, it'd be like watching Steve Smith play against under 12s, really. I mean,
What,
It was
Australia being
just
under 12 and Steve Smith being
no.
Indian blind cricket team?
Yeah, pretty much. It was we did pretty well. I mean, it was hard, because there were it was a sort of a transitioning phase for the team. I don't think Robbo played. Moxie is obviously still relatively young and fresh there, but still one of the older players. So there were some older players in the group, and there were some young ones as well. So it was a great learning experience. But yeah, look,
you get any runs while you were there? Because you're more of a batter in the Australian setup, aren't you, than a bowler?
Nah, I didn't get any runs. I actually almost took a hat trick though. So it's funny you say that. Yeah, but I was in Sri Lanka. So after we left India, we went to Sri Lanka, and I'll be honest, we thought, oh yeah, we can, we'll walk all over these guys, but they had just apparently drastically improved, and we got it handed to us. That's for sure. They were probably one of the first teams to score 400 plus runs on us.
Wow. Is that in a 20 or a 40?
No, in a 40. So,
okay.
That's still pretty heavy scoring at over 10 runs and over. We couldn't really match it. It is incredible to watch, these guys bat and just score runs. And, when you're out in the field and you can't stop it. There's nothing you can physically do to stop them hitting boundaries. Like no matter where you move in the field, they're just going to hit it to a different side of you. And that's how good technically they are at hitting the ball. So hats off to them. They obviously put in the work and get the funding to be able to hold 25, 30-day training camps to be as a group and whatnot before a tour, which is incredible, to think that, the longest training camp I think I've ever been involved with here in Australia is a 9-day training camp.
Yeah. And they don't happen very often, do they? Once a year, twice a year?
I've only ever been involved with one. Otherwise, it's over a weekend. Yeah. And that's understandable. I mean, people have work commitments and family, et cetera. So, it is understandable that it'd be nice if we could get a 2-weeker in before a tour so we could all bond and gel as a group.
Based on what I heard today, there might not be any overseas travel until 2023. But anyway, let's get back to your thing. So you went on your first tour and you came back, and then you had the All Abilities came after that.
Yeah, so we recruited pretty well that series. A lot of interstate teams would call us the SA Galaxy, or
That's right.
just because we recruited well. But we had the likes of young Stefan Nero come across and play for us. New Zealand.
We're lucky with him, weren't we?
Yeah, we had Donna McCaskill and Sanjay come across from, which is Praveen Shankar from New Zealand. So yeah, we had some good recruitment. We had another guy by the name of Manny from Victoria as well, E1. So yeah, we had a pretty solid structure. Our own players were in good form too.
We had a couple of people come out of retirement for that one.
Yeah, we did. A young Tim Haggis and a Nick Carrozza as well coming out of retirement. So look, and Nick and yourself are still valuable assets. I feel you guys don't think so, but both very good bowlers and still have something to offer as well. So if you want
anyway, this isn't about us. This is about you. So that. The first winning tournament, and how lucky were you? What were you, 21 or 20? 20 still?
Yeah, 20-ish or something like that.
Won your first one?
Won it, which is good. Yeah, I thought I had a pretty good series. I made my high score of, mate, there's a cat walking behind you.
Yeah, there is.
It's funny. I love watching this grey thing just roll across behind camera.
Anyway, carry on. We won our first.
But so we won our first one, and I had a pretty good series. I really started to feel like I matured as a player than what I was in my first nationals. So a lot of experience went into that, and then we won that. And then I think it was 3 or 4 months after that, we were jetting off to South Africa as the Australian team, which we were.
So you had back to back tours.
I haven't missed a tour yet, which I'm very fortunate about.
Yep. So you moved up pretty quickly through the ranks. And did you store any runs in South Africa, or did you?
I did. I actually made my first half century in South Africa. So I made that against Sri Lanka, actually. They were a tough team. Like, there's just nothing we could do to beat them again. Like, they were just incredible. It was pretty much just making him stay out there for 40 overs to, make them just do a little bit more work in the field, maybe tire them out a little bit and just hope for the best when you're fielding. But I still remember that series, that World Cup we played in Pakistan. Bowled us all out for, I think it was about 126, and they got that in the space of 8 overs. Yeah.
So that's a bit of a gap. Where are they in the world rankings?
They're at number 2. So India are number 1, Pakistan number 2, Sri Lanka are number 3, and I think England are number 4 at the moment.
Okay, so and we're Australia.
I think we're probably 6th or 7th, probably even lower, to be honest. Look, we've got, the thing is, we've got a pretty young team, and if we can get to the next World Cup, if there's stuff that allows teams to go overseas and whatnot, I think we put in a lot better performance than we did our last World Cup. That's for sure.
I'm glad to hear it. Now you've gone down the road. You've been playing cricket for about 3 or 4 years now. So we had the Melbourne, the last of the traditional blind cricket competitions, and we narrowly lost the final there. But when we went on from there, things started to improve a bit, didn't they?
Yeah, so we pretty disappointing to lose that final. Just a lot didn't go our way, and it was tough. We were in a position to win it, but the structure of the tournament just wore our team out, unfortunately. And Vic's had numbers, and they just played a bit better on the day.
So we beat, as I remember, the one, not the NCICs, but the one before it. So we beat everybody in the minor rounds, and then the final, we went to the final, and it came down to the last ball, and we didn't quite get it done. So
we actually needed 3 runs off the last ball, and we only got 1. So I can't remember how it went, to be honest. I try not to think about that one. That was a pretty heartbreaking series, but
my point was more about the next one, and that's when it started really coming together for you, didn't it? So
then the one before that, there was another Australian tour in 2016, which is a pretty special moment as well. We got to play an Ashes series.
Of course, yes.
In Adelaide as well. So I was a part of that, and England, a formidable unit, come across and just wiped us off the floor, to be honest. They
did, and they did.
They just destroyed us, and we won a couple of games here and there, but we still have a long way to go if we want to be, had a long way to go. I think we'd be pretty even these days, but from there we needed to improve a fair bit to match it with them.
Yeah, that's the thing. The next tour is meant to be an Ashes tour, so see how we measure up with some new younger players and things like that. But what I'm more interested to talk to you about is your batting. How's your batting been going in the last 2 or 3 national tournaments?
Oh yeah, look, I'd say it's been when I'm fit and firing, it's been pretty good. I've had a pretty successful couple of seasons with the bat, and it's been incredible not just to watch myself grow, but when you improve, your team want to improve as well. To watch likes of young Lockie Wallace come through. Ricky's always been consistent. Haskey relatively consistent as well. So to have a steady core has been pretty good. It's just probably a few things probably let us lack a little bit. Probably fitness and not having the best eyes in the field, I guess, like New South Wales do. And they work hard. They work just as hard as us, if not harder, to be where they're at. And yeah, for me, I had a pretty good last 3 years, so it's been good fun.
So New South Wales have won the last 3, and we won the one before that with the Western Australian combination. And we've been trying to win one as just South Australia, but New South Wales have blocked us a bit, haven't they, really? So they've just got good at the right time. And haven't we picked Victoria 3 times or something, haven't we? Twice in the final by a run to get in and play them. So when we played about as well as we could have, would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Obviously last year was pretty hectic with the bushfires and everything that was going on. It was probably didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. There was bushfires for majority of the week, causing smoke delays and cancellation of games. And then, on the final, our first 5 overs got rained out. So
tough time.
Look, it was a tough one, and they have the depth to cover that sort of stuff where we sort of lack in that area. But another year under the belt is just going to improve us even more, and I feel like we're a really good chance of taking it out next year. If there is an NCI, or this year rather, if there is an NCIC.
Yeah,
that's the big debate. Hopefully, I can't see any real reason why there shouldn't be, but you just don't know with funding and everything like that at the moment with what's going on. So.
Well, it'll all unfold in the next couple of months, I'm sure. So in the last, I think, is it the last 6 tournaments, we've made 5 finals and won 2. Is that correct?
Maybe.
Okay, that's it. So you got all abilities we won. Then the next one in Melbourne, we came second. Then the one after that, we won it. Then
Yep.
the one after that, I think we missed the final because Ricky was hurt. And then two, oh, it's actually, six.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is
6
5 out of
with
6.
2 wins and 3 seconds and 1 missing the final, but we could have still made it. Yeah, so
we could have been. It was tough. I mean, that one was another tough loss. Even though we beat Victoria, we needed to win just by a few more, like an over and a bit, and we would have been in the final. That year, we probably would have shaken New South Wales. They had a pretty young side themselves back then. So look, we probably would have given a really, really good shake. Probably could have taken it, but
the games are still being close now. Even the last ones, you just
probably could be closer if I'm honest. Just the small things like, the team's preparation. For me, I feel like as a team, we've still got a bit to improve on. And I still think we've got a lot of room to move in, all aspects. But yeah, I think going forward, we're looking strong. Like Chris Hansen, relatively new guy to the team, he's coming along very quickly. So Lockie Wallace is always improving. Our B1s, Aaron Lyle, Isla Ahmed, Tahir. You've got a young guy, another guy called Furkan now. Also Michael Zanis. So our B1 structure is very good at the moment, which is great. I think we've probably got the best B1s in the country.
It's got to keep those older B2s going, don't you? Because you got all the B2s are over 40, and no, Haskey's not, but Mark's not, but Dragon and Ricky are. So even though they're good B2s, it's hard to get through a tournament, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing. We've got our age differentials. That goes from Ricky, Dragon, and Michael. In the 40s to then Haskey in the 30s, and then everyone else is 30 or below.
Lots of good teenagers coming up as well, and that it's a good thing to be looking forward to. But quickly, before we wrap up on you, because when we talk to me, I'll tell you all about South Australia's woes of the era before Stephen Palmer came along. So other sports that you're playing, because you're a pretty sporty guy. So I'll say this, you don't need to answer, but it's pretty widely regarded that you're the best blind cricketer in Australia, and you've scored in 3 tournaments, you've scored at least 4 centuries, and this is in a 20-over match. So you've pretty much contributed about as much as you can. You don't bowl very often because you're a pretty good fielder. And
no, you're cutting me short.
Huh?
Cutting me short.
How's that?
You say three series. You say 3 series.
4 series. Is it
I've
4
only
series?
scored 4 centuries.
4 series.
Yeah, I've scored at least 11.
Well, thank you. Well, good.
No, in the last 3 years, I scored 10.
You've scored 11 centuries for the state. Now, if you bowled, you probably would be the bowler of the team as well, but you don't bowl very often. But you were player of the. I can remember you being player of the tournament with the most wickets in one tournament. We are talking about a guy with a fair bit of talent, and then you're well supported by others like Mark Haskett and Ricky Sagira and other guys that are only probably a little bit behind you in terms of that. So it's a pretty good era to be in if you're a South Australian. And to think of the way we're a small population. We're playing against Victoria, who have a competition of 4 teams, New South Wales, who have got a huge population, very centralised. So we're competing with the best and we're doing it pretty well. So I think that's credit to you.
Oh, look, yeah, and that's the thing, we look at as well. And the WA are coming through. They're coming through nice and strong. Yeah. So, I think probably next year is probably going to be one of the toughest competitions we've ever been in, because WA have got great batsmen in, Stephen Nero, Matt Cameron, Bradley Brighter, some good players in the field now, some really good side in the field. Queensland, still strong.
They had their era as well. They've had a huge era not long ago.
Correct, and everyone goes through rebuilding stages and phases. So,
other sports, what else are you doing?
So I originally did a bit of track cycling and pretty eager to get back into that at the moment. Got a watt bike at my house at the moment. I try and get on as regularly as possible. I've only had it for just over, not even a week, probably like
how many times you've
5 or 6 days. So probably twice now. So, it's just for me, it's just trying to get back on the bike and spin the legs over, clock the Ks up. But, I was a state para cyclist back in the day as well, so I didn't mind doing that. So we'll see what we can do in there. And I also play blind tennis as well. So, I know you play a bit of blind tennis and beat me the other day.
We'll get to me. We'll get to me. Don't worry. We'll get there.
Need to flog you a few more times.
Well,
but yeah, no, looking to hopefully progress up the ranks in that too.
So there's apparently a World Blind Sports Championship in 2023. How many sports do you reckon you could compete in that event if the schedule suited you?
Oh, if there's a Blind Sports and it's got cycling and tennis, I could probably do both.
Maybe cricket will be there.
By the way. Maybe. I mean, you just don't know. But they always tend to leave cricket out, to be honest, when it comes to Olympics and sporting championships and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'd like to compete in all three if I could and I was allowed to. But, with politics and sport and stuff, it does get difficult at sometimes.
That's true. And what about football, Aussie rules?
Look, I haven't hung up the boots there yet either. I'm probably going to go around this year if the season gets back up and running, and then we'll reassess come next year and where I'm sitting with all my sporting activities and, what levels I'm playing in each and the commitments are for the required. So, I definitely would love to go around this year and potentially maybe one more year next year.
Where were you playing now? You're living in town now. Where will you go?
I'll probably still head back out to Eastern Park. It's not really that difficult to get out there. A couple of buses and a train, so it's no biggie. It's still manageable.
All right, mate. Well, I think that would conclude our little chat. So we'll just go, thanks for coming in and welcome to the panel. Thank you for tuning in to Playing to Win. We hope you will join us next time. Search for our podcast on the Australian Disability Sport website, australiandisabilitysport.com.au. Follow the updates on Australian Disability Sport's Facebook page. Thank you, and just remember, we're all playing to win.